Now 5 minutes away from today's 6:40 p.m. Central launch, and looking at a close-up view of the Cygnus cargo craft atop of its Antares rocket, ready to go. Everything proceeding very smoothly into tonight's countdown as we head towards that final liftoff. Again, just 4 minutes and now 5 minutes away from today's 6:40 p.m. Central launch, and looking at a close-up view of the Cygnus cargo craft atop of its Antares rocket, ready to go. Everything proceeding very smoothly into tonight's countdown as we head towards that final liftoff. Again, just 4 minutes and 42 seconds and counting. Now 3 minutes and 30 seconds away from today's 6:40 p.m. launch. At this point, we go into the terminal countdown. Any red flags that crop up between now and launch will stop the countdown, but at the moment, everything continuing to look good. Send Cygnus and its 5,100 pounds of cargo off to the space station on time. Now 3 minutes and 30 seconds away from today's 6:40 p.m. launch. At this point, we go into the terminal countdown. Any red flags that crop up between now and launch will stop the countdown, but at the moment, everything continuing to look good. Send Cygnus and its 5,100 pounds of cargo off to the space station on time. We're hearing now that the launch control team is going to take advantage of that 5-minute window and actually slip out to 7:45 p.m. Eastern time. That's 6:45 p.m. Central time. So we're going to have a little bit of extra time before tonight's launch, about 5 minutes. So we're hearing now that the launch control team is going to take advantage of that 5-minute window and actually slip out to 7:45 p.m. Eastern time. That's 6:45 launch p.m. Central time. So we're going to have a little bit of extra time before tonight's launch, about 5 minutes. So we are now 6 minutes and 13 seconds until tonight's now 6:45 and 46 seconds p.m. Central Time launch.
Report range status. Recall that we have activated ECS transferred to TN2. Is that correct? That's firm. And off to your go for step 423. Deactivate BRG.
BRG deactivated.
And NASA TD LC countdown. Copy that. And NASA TD report range status. Yeah, report range status.
Range is green.
Copy, range is green. Okay, launch team, just be advised, we've retargeted at T0 to the end of the window at 234536. And that's TD-LC countdown, we're the final countdown.
Go ahead.
Ops 1, step 425, go to transfer avionics for internal power. Copy, range is green. Okay, launch team, just be advised, we've retargeted at T0 to the end of the window at 234536. We completed all
All
steps.
internal
Step
power on,
424,
all
the
external
final
power off.
countdown.
Step complete.
Ops 1, step 425, go to transfer avionics, go internal power.
In work.
LC elect 1, internal power nominal.
Copy, check 426 complete. Ops 1, step 427, go to open FPS under loop, verify during indication.
All internal power on, open and green. External power off. Step complete.
Copy, Ops 1, check 425, elect 1, you go for 420. And FPS verify,
LC
SCLU
elect 1,
status.
internal power nominal.
LC, SCLU, and FTS receiver indications are nominal.
Ops 1, step 427, go to open FPS arm enabled, verify during
Arm enabled.
indication.
FTS MB loop, open and green.
Send all arms in.
All arms sent.
And FTS verify, SCLU status. Elect 1, you go for
LC,
431.
SCLU, and FTS
Still
receiver
counting down
indications
towards
are
today's
nominal.
launch, now set for 6:45 p.m. Central Time.
Arm
Things
enabled.
looking good now with that new time, taking advantage of the 5-minute launch window that Cygnus and Antares
set.
has. That gives the
Complete.
team here on the ground a little time to troubleshoot minor engine
Still counting down towards today's
issue they
launch,
saw with
now
the engine,
set
but
for
again, that seems to
6:45
have resolved
p.m.
and Central
Look like we
Time.
are
Things
heading down
looking good now with that
3
new
minutes and
time,
44
taking advantage of the
seconds away from
5-minute launch
tonight's
window that Cygnus and Antares has. That gives the team here on the ground a little time to troubleshoot minor issue they saw with the engine, but again, that seems to have resolved, and we look like we are heading down now 3 minutes and 44 seconds away from tonight's launch.
And CG verify, speaking nav mode nominal.
LC, SIGI nav mode nominal.
Copy that. Check 43 and 436. Phase 3 dynamic limits will be active at T-minus 3 minutes.
Three minutes now to launch and counting. We are back now in that terminal countdown phase, heading towards a launch again. 6:45 and 46 seconds tonight.
Controls and transfer to CSOE.
BTSO is open.
ODM bus voltages and trends
3
nominal.
minutes now to launch and counting.
Copy
We are
all
back
elect
now in
1
that
and
terminal
41 and
countdown
copy
phase,
transmission. Check 441
heading towards
complete.
a launch again. 6:45 and 46 seconds tonight.
Controls and transfer to CSOE.
BTSO is open.
EHS1, I'll wait for your call on
ODM bus
442.
voltages and currents nominal.
Copy all elect 1 and
EHS
41 and copy
charging is
transmission. Check
nominal.
441. Copy EHS1, check 442 complete. EHS1, I'll wait for your call in 4 minutes on my mark.
EHS charging is nominal.
Copy EHS1, check 442 complete.
Just 2 minutes to go now. It'll take the Cygnus about 9 minutes and 4 seconds to reach orbit and separate from Antares before it can then begin making its way to the International Space Station and scheduled to deliver 5,100 pounds of cargo to the station on Sunday.
T-minus 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Just 2 minutes to
on
go
my mark.
now. It'll take the Cygnus about 9 minutes and 4 seconds to reach orbit and separate from Antares before it can then begin making its way to the International Space Station and scheduled to deliver 5,100 pounds of cargo to the station on Sunday.
T-minus 1 minute and 30 seconds on my mark.
Core 1 preliminary oxygen
And mark.
pressurization started.
Copy, Core 1, check 446. T-minus 1 minute on my mark. Mark.
Just 1 minute to go in tonight's countdown. Everything looking good and proceeding smoothly
Core
for
1
a
preliminary
6:45
pressurization
p.m.
started.
Central Time launch.
Copy, Core 1, check 446. T-minus 1 minute on my mark. Mark.
Just 1 minute to go in tonight's countdown. Everything looking good and proceeding
And
smoothly
T-minus
for a
30 seconds on my mark.
6:45 p.m. Central Time launch.
Copy, Core 1, check 448. Mark.
30 seconds now.
And T-minus 30 seconds on my mark. T-minus 10 seconds. Mark.
30 seconds now.
Mark.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
T-minus 10 seconds.
And as you can see, Cygnus lifting off on top of its Antares rocket on its mission to deliver supplies and science to the International Space Station. 2, 1. First stage is now burning and will burn for 3 minutes and 20 seconds on top of its Antares rocket on its mission to deliver supplies and science to the International Space Station. The flight that provides the initial thrust to get Cygnus going on its journey to orbit. First stage is now burning and will burn for 3 minutes and 20 seconds of flight before it cuts off at just about 10,000 feet above the Earth, and that provides the initial thrust to get proceeding Cygnus going on its journey to orbit.
Engines are back up to power, passing 10,000 feet. Engines are throttling to nominal 5% power.
More than 10,000 feet above the Earth, and
power remains
everything
nominal. Altitude
proceeding
passing
smoothly.
30,000 feet. Core pressures remain nominal. Engines remain nominal. As core pressure back up to full power. Nominal change
Crowd watching
pressure on the main
the
engine.
launch at Wallops there, cheering its liftoff. We're now 1 minute and 30 seconds into flight. Another minute and a half to 2 minutes to go until the first main engine cutoff, coming at 3 minutes and 28 seconds, but everything proceeding as expected. And today's watching the launch at Wallops there, cheering its liftoff. We're now 1 minute and 30 seconds into flight. Another minute and a half to 2 minutes to go until the first main engine cutoff, coming at 3 minutes and 28 seconds, but everything proceeding as expected in today's flight.
Passing 100,000 feet in altitude. Stage 1 systems are nominal. We're about 90 seconds from MECO at this point. Vehicle attitude is nominal. Attitude remains nominal. Engines is passing 100,000 feet in altitude. Stage 1 systems continue to work very well. Healthy power systems.
2.5 minutes
Vehicle
into flight,
attitude is nominal.
less than or just over a minute left to go before that main engine cuts off.
Engines and core pressure remain nominal at this point. Altitude just passing 200,000 feet. Avionics systems continue to look good. Attitude remains nominal. Systems.
2.5 minutes into flight, less than or just over a minute left to go before that main engine cuts off.
Attitude and core pressures remain nominal. Roughly 30 seconds to main engine 100,000 feet. Attitude remains nominal. Velocity is 10,000 feet per second. We started our slow throttle back to 55% power. Attitude and core pressures remain nominal. Altitude 300,000 feet. Roughly 30 seconds to main engine CVC skew for MECO is initiated. Velocity is 10,000 feet per second. Engines is throttled back to 55% power. And we have main engine cutoff. PSS disable. Altitude 300,000 feet. Storm is
Hearing there that everything is continuing as planned. The main engine's cut off right on time, and the first stage separated from the rest of the Antares rocket. Coming up next at the 4 minute and 9 second mark, we'll have a fairing separation. The fairing protects Cygnus through the early part of launch as it's flying through the denser part of the Earth's atmosphere. And there that everything is continuing as planned. The main engine's cut off right on time, and the first stage separated from the rest of the Antares rocket. Coming up next at the 4 minute and 9 second mark, we'll have a fairing separation. The fairing protects Cygnus through the early part of launch as it's flying through the denser part of the Earth's animation of the fairing separating, and here 9 minutes, that happened just as planned. 4 minutes and 9 seconds. The
Delta V was nominal. CVC batteries initiated, and stage 2 ignition.
There it is, stage 2 ignites, and that will be burning for 2 minutes and 40 seconds to continue. And there you see an animation of the fairing separating, and here that that happened just as planned. After that, the
CVC batteries initiated, and stage 2 ignition. 30XL PVC.
There it is, stage 2 ignites, and that will be burning for 2 minutes and 40 seconds to continue Antares and Cygnus's climb into orbit.
The Castor 30XL will burn for about 2.5 minutes. Attitude's nominal. Not much, not seeing much consumption from the attitude
now
remains
5 minutes
good.
into today's flight, everything continuing to go smoothly. You can
Vehicle
see
power systems
it's
remain nominal.
continuing to climb into orbit and take Cygnus and its 5,100 pounds of
Attitude's
cargo
nominal.
on its way to the space station.
Not seeing much consumption from
Attitude
the
remains
attitude control system.
Now 5 minutes into today's flight, everything continuing to
Power
go
systems
smoothly.
remain
You can
good.
see it's continuing to climb into orbit and take Cygnus and its
Altitude is
5,100 pounds of cargo on its
We're
way to the
about
space
90
station.
seconds from stage 2 burnout.
Minute and a
Attitude
half
remains
left
nominal.
for stage 2 to continue firing. Then it will
Power systems
burn
remain
out
good.
once Cygnus and Antares reach orbit.
Just continuing stage 2 burn here. Vehicle
Altitude
attitude looks nominal. All vehicle systems were about 90 seconds from stage 2 burnout.
Minute and a half left for stage 2 to continue firing. Then it will
Vehicle attitude is nominal.
burn out once Cygnus and Antares reach
Power
orbit.
looks good. Just continuing.
Just
stage
1 minute
2 burn
left for
here.
stage 2
Vehicle
to continue
attitude
burning.
looks nominal. All vehicle systems appear very healthy. Altitude is 210 kilometers. Vehicle attitude is nominal. Power looks good. Attitude remains nominal.
Just 1 minute left for stage 2 to continue burning.
Attitude remains nominal. Power is nominal. Altitude is 210 kilometers. Coming up on motor tail off right now. We see the start of the motor tail off at this point. Attitude remains nominal. Attitude remains nominal. Altitude
Power
is
is
220 kilometers. Should be coming up on motor tail off right now.
Motor
See
pressure
the start of the motor tail
we
off
head
at
towards
this burnout. And we have stage 2 burnout. Attitude remains nominal. Antares is in orbit. Altitude is 220 kilometers.
Antares and Cygnus safely in orbit now, and stage 2 having finished its
Motor
part of the
pressure
climb into
tail
space.
off as we head
Got a
towards
couple more
burnout.
minutes now before the next milestone, which is when the
And we have
Cygnus
stage 2
cargo
burnout.
craft will separate from Antares and let the rocket fall
Antares
away.
is in orbit.
That'll be taking place at Antares 9 minutes and Cygnus
4
seconds safely into in launch, orbit so now, and stage 2 having
Just
finished its part of the
that.
climb into space.
systems still
Got a
look
couple
good.
more minutes now before the next milestone, which is when the Cygnus cargo craft will separate from Antares and let the rocket
Vehicle
fall
attitude
away.
is nominal.
That'll be taking place at 9 minutes and 4 seconds into launch, so just a little over a minute and a half left for that.
Power systems still look good. Vehicle power systems and attitude remain nominal at this point. Again, we're just awaiting
attitude
payload
nominal.
separation shortly here. Attitude and power remain.
8 minutes now into today's launch, and again, as you're hearing, everything continuing to look good. We're waiting for the separation of
power
the Cygnus
systems
cargo
and
craft, which
attitude
will take
remain
place
nominal
at the
at this
9
point.
minute
Again,
and
we're
4
just,
seconds mark.
awaiting payload separation from the second stage attitude control system.
Cygnus is carrying with it 5,100
Attitude
pounds
and
of
power
cargo,
remain.
including
8 minutes now into
today's more than 1,000 pounds
as
of scientific equipment to look good. We're waiting for the separation of the Cygnus cargo craft, which will take place at the 9 minute go on board the International Space Station at any given time.
Nitrogen from the second stage attitude control system.
Cygnus is carrying with it 5,100
Attitude and
pounds
power
of
are
cargo,
nominal.
including more than 1,000 pounds of scientific equipment and samples that will be used in the many science experiments that go on board the International Space Station at any given time.
Waiting
Attitude and
payload
power are
separation
nominal.
shortly here. All systems still look good. Attitude is nominal. And we have Cygnus spacecraft separation.
And you'll see an animation of the Antares pulling away from the Cygnus cargo
Waiting,
craft, which will
payload
continue it
separation
on its
shortly
own
here.
to make a several-day
All
journey to
systems,
the International
still
Space
look good.
Station, scheduled to arrive
Attitude is
on
nominal.
Sunday.
And we have Cygnus spacecraft separation.
And you see an animation of the Antares pulling away from the Cygnus cargo craft, which will continue it on its own to make a several-day journey to the International Space Station, scheduled to arrive
And NASA
on
TD,
Sunday.
LC, countdown 1.
Go ahead,
And
NASA
once again,
TD,
Cygnus is now
Fluid
safely
injection
on
of
orbit,
Cygnus
and
into the
liftoff
intended orbit. With that,
liftoff
we're
took
gonna
place
sign off from the
at
RTC,
6:45
in
p.m.
which,
Central Time, the
Cygnus,
tail end of their
smooth
5-minute
journey to
window,
the
and
International
now
Space Station.
at 6
And NASA
6:55
TD,
p.m.
LT,
Central.
countdown
The
1.
vehicle is safely in space.
Go ahead, Elton.
And once
Amanda,
again,
everything's
seeing
now
to go well on
safely
the climb
on
orbit,
but I'm guessing there's still a lot of
liftoff
work to
took
do.
place,
What happens now?
At 6:45
Well,
p.m.
as
Central Time,
someone
the
that
tail
used
end
to
of
be
their
a part of the launch
5-minute
vehicle team,
window,
to
and now
celebrate. Oh,
at,
wait, Cygnus still has a lot to do. So Cygnus will actually, in
6:55
about,
p.m.
they'll
Central, the
start their
vehicle is
initial
safely
systems
in
checkout
space.
in about an hour and a
Now,
half
Amanda,
from now. They're
everything
going to
seemed to go
deploy
well on
their
the climb
solar
up, but I'm
arrays.
guessing there's still
That's
a lot
really
of
a
work
cool
to
sight
do.
to
What
see.
happens
So we're
now?
going to go back and
Well, as
report
someone
back
that used to
later
be a part of the
on how
launch vehicle
those
team to
solar
celebrate.
arrays deploy.
Cygnus
And
still
then
has
there's
a
a
lot to
series
do.
of Delta V
So
burns
Cygnus
that
will
Cygnus will now
actually,
go
in
into.
about,
They will start their
raises it up
initial
to the
system
station.
checkout
That way, in about an hour and a half from now,
folks
they're
here
going
in
to
the Mission
deploy their
Control
solar
Center can make
arrays.
sure that we have
That's
good
really a cool
command
sight
and
to see.
control
So we're going
over
to go back
Cygnus.
and so as we get closer and
report back
closer to the
later
space station,
on
we
how
know everything
those
is functioning
solar
normally.
arrays deploy.
We
And
continue
then
to do
there's a series
several
of Delta V burns
getting
Cygnus will
closer
now
and
go
closer.
into, and then
That
the folks
slowly
here in
raises it
Houston
up
give
to
a
the
go,
station.
no
That
go,
way,
and we
the
approach the station.
folks here in the Mission
Eventually, we
Control
get
Center can make sure
grappled
that
by
we have
the
good
Canadarm2,
command and control
and
over
then we're
Cygnus.
docked onto
So
the
as we
space
get closer
station
and
and
closer
start
to
our
the space
unloading
station, we know
activities
everything is
for the
functioning normally.
astronauts. We
But do you take a
continue to
moment
do
to
several
celebrate right now?
Delta V burns,
I'm
getting closer and
absolutely going to
closer.
celebrate
And then the
right
folks
now.
here in Houston give a go, no
It's such
go,
a
and we
feeling of
approach the
elation to
station.
see that
Eventually,
vehicle take
we
off.
get grappled
It was
by
just
the
thrilling.
Canadarm2,
I'm very happy
and
to
then
see
we're docked
Antares
onto the space station and
back
start our
and,
unloading
that we delivered
activities
Cygnus
for the
safely to orbit.
astronauts.
Well,
But do you
congratulations.
take a
It
moment
was
to
a beautiful
celebrate right now?
launch.
Again,
I'm
took place at
absolutely going to
6:45
celebrate
p.m.
right
Central
now.
Time. That's at the end
It's
of the
such a feeling
5-minute
of
launch
elation
window
to
that they
see
had,
that
but
vehicle
everything
take
went
off.
smoothly on the way up to
It
orbit,
was
and
just
now
thrilling.
Cygnus has
I'm very
safely arrived
happy
in
to see
orbit and begun
Antares
that
back
several-day-long
and
trip
that
to
we
the space
delivered
station.
Cygnus safely to
It
orbit.
will arrive on
Well,
Sunday.
congratulations. It was a beautiful launch.
Again, took place at 6:45 p.m. Central Time. That's at the end of the 5-minute launch window that they had, but everything went smoothly on the way up to orbit, and now Cygnus has safely arrived in orbit and begun that several-day-long trip to the space station. It will arrive on Sunday. With Cygnus safely on orbit, we're going to take a break now to take a look at some replays of Antares' climb into space. But we'll be back afterwards at 8:10 p.m. Central Time to check back on the vehicle as it deploys its solar arrays. That is going to be coming up again at 8:10 p.m. Central Time. With Cygnus safely on orbit, we're going to take a break now to take a look at some replays of Antares' climb into space. Central Time, but we'll be back afterwards at 8:10 p.m. Central Time next on to check back on the vehicle as it deploys its solar arrays. That is going to be coming up again at 8:10 p.m. Central Time, just in time for the solar array deployment, which should take place at around 8:15 p.m. Central. And then at 9 p.m. Central Time, we'll have our post-launch news conference from Wallops. All that coming up here next on NASA TV. And one more time, thanks, Amanda, for joining us. We really appreciated it. It was fun having you here. And this is Mission Control Houston.
Thank you.